I talked to a source close to Dianna. That's how I will label this source. And the source close to Dianna told me that this is the source, believes it was a private investigator that took the photos of Dianna and Vrabel. And the source, believes that without question, the PI was hired by Dianna's husband. Again, I talked to a source close to Dianna, and the source close to Dianna told me, and it's what I'm not saying Dianna believes this or Dianna told the source. I'm just telling you, this is a source close to Dianna, and I was told it was a PI and it was the husband. And apparently the source close to Dianna told me that the husband has a bunch of money, and this is not about money because he has plenty of it. So the source close to Dianna tells me that it was a PI. It wasn't some Johnny hotel visitor with his phone out. It was a PI, and they believe, the source, that the PI was hired by Dianna's husband. And the source tells me that Dianna's husband doesn't need the money in a divorce because he's already loaded. So this is about more than money, according to the source.
Some more stuff on this Dianna Russini stuff. And apparently her husband is like the CEO of Shake Shack. That's the rumor. He like the CEO of Shake Shack or something like that. And I seen something on X, and I might put it in there, saying that her husband allegedly could have hired a PI, and that's where those pictures came from. Now, we talked about, and I've already showed the compilation, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon, of all the compilations of her disrespecting her husband over the years on live TV or calling in to a podcast or something, saying she would marry Jimmy Garoppolo, her husband. Well, if he was handsome, she would show him off all the time. Disrespecting. Now, he ain't no broke nigga. You know, he like, the top leadership group or something to Shake Shack. I shout out to Shake Shack. It's good. The first time I had it was in Times Square. And he has confidants too. And that's the thing about cheating. I think most people can accept cheating if the world don't know about it. If they close confidants don't know about it and the world don't know about it. I think that's the huge thing about it. I think most people can accept it as if everybody know you getting cheated on in the world, it's the embarrassment of it. For women, it's embarrassing, but it's like, niggas gonna, most men gonna fuck these hoes. And where else you gonna go most of the time, But for men, it's super duper embarrassing because the woman, they seen as a trophy. They seen as prestigious. That's better. They seen as prestigious, man. So your woman is seen as prestigious, untouchable, pure. That's why they get married in white wedding dresses. You know what I mean? But yeah, why do you need to roll up on me that closely, bro? But that's why they seen the way that they seen. But, to carry on, when you got women in male-dominated spaces like sports, a couple things, kind of gotta be there. Either they gotta be really, really good at what they do, they gotta be top-notch, or a lot of times they gotta use the sex appeal to get where they at. So when you picking a woman, they're always talking about nurses and flight attendants and all that stuff. But at the top of that list, realistically, you have to really talk about, women that work in male-dominated spaces. If your woman work as a secretary or she work in this sports field, she around guys with high testosterone. She around guys of all ages. She around young bulls. She around, the middleweight, the veteran bulls. She around the silver fox coaches. The 40, the golden year coaches, 40 and up, 50 and up. They all types of dudes. All types of dudes. And you gotta ask yourself, do your woman got the discipline to not to fuck these dudes, bro? Because the one thing about women, they can be talking to a dude, they can be working with a dude or do something with a dude, do a project with a dude, and she may not even be attracted to him. But they spend so much time together, they start to bond together. She started feeling a certain type of way. This is why women came up with emotionally cheating. I just did the video about that Nikki Glazer chick who says she don't mind if her husband cheat, just as long as he don't emotionally cheat. That's a woman thing. Men don't emotionally cheat. We don't even emotionally have to have emotions to clap cheeks. But women know that their emotional cheating leads to them being sleeping with a man or with another woman. They understand that, so that's why they coined that phrase, emotionally cheating. That's why they coined that phrase, because that's how they operate. Men don't operate like that. You sleep with a woman just off sex appeal, just because her booty big, you know, just because her tata's big, you know, just because she got a nice smile, or just because you curious because you like how she walk and you think that coochie bang. Women can get with an ugly guy and he can be funny, or they can start, having, conversations that allow them to bond together. They start forming camaraderie together, and next thing you know, it leads to her wanting to fuck him. So you gotta ask yourself, when you deal with a woman that's a reporter, that's in these male spaces, that work around these guys, especially if she just work in the studio, guess what? Or she do like, she do the shit like the Breakfast Club, and she around these dudes with bread. She around 6'6" niggas, or she like short dudes. And this woman doing all this speeding and it's raining. Where are you speeding to? This is what I be talking about. This is why people get in accidents. This is why people get in accidents, dog. But do your woman got the discipline not to fuck these niggas, man? And sometimes women can't help it. This is how they say dudes Peter Pan, they Johnson & Johnson. They can't control it. Believe me or not, women can't control their vagina. When they get around a guy they like, they can't control that vagina, how it get wet, and how that's why I tell y'all, when you hear women be like, well, I ain't never had an orgasm off penetration, or because they not dealing with guys that they like. When women get around guys they like, whether they married, happily married, or a guy that they really, really like, they gon' fuck. I'm just telling you that right now. Especially if come on. Especially if their husband or the guy they with ain't him. If she revere you like that, then yeah, you might be all right. But if she don't revere you, don't respect you like that, don't think you will leave, man, bro, you put her around these NBA athletes, they going. You put her around Chris Brown, they going. You put her around dudes with money, they going. Even if she knows it's a temporary moment, it's a one night stand, it's gonna be 2 or 3 pump special, and that's it, they still willing to risk that just to say they was with that guy. You know what's so crazy about it? A lot of times women can't take it to the grave. Either they'll tell you down the road, tell they homegirl, or you'll find out. So when they be talking about occupations of women that you need to be wary of, definitely when you put women in male spaces around athletes, around dudes with money, we have more control over our penises than they do over their vaginas when they get around a guy they really, really like, bro. Trying to tell y'all that, bro. And the crazy thing is, you can put them in the proximity with men, right? And a man can be so unattractive to her, right? It could be a proximity of her boss, and she like, I just can't stand him. He just this, that, and the third. But guess what? The women, one thing I learned about women, that guys they can't stand is the guys that they respect. The guys that are assholes are the guys that they respect. And the guys that they respect are the guys that they'll fuck, that they really want to fuck. And that's the wild thing about it. Well, they could be around guys they don't find attractive, and they can build a bond. And I say this one last time, they can build a bond with these guys, build camaraderie. Next thing you know, after they go out for drinks, he knocking her shit through the fucking roof. And I heard women say, grown women say this before, I don't know why I let him sleep with me. Y'all be thinking women be knowing. They don't know. This is why they can't take accountability. This is why they don't have rebuttals. This is why they can't tell you what they bring to the table. They literally don't know. They will sleep with a guy and be like, I don't know why I slept with him. I'm not attracted to him. They literally don't know why. It's crazy game. They literally would be like, I don't know why I did it. I just noticed this dude is riding through the rain on his motorcycle, which is wild. I just noticed this. And it's not like just like bullshit raining. It's got a nice little, you know. But yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is, man. They don't even know when they make that. That's why they try to throw that emotional cheating on men. We don't do that. We're cheat because that goddamn monkey paw look like it's good. You know, we don't do that emotional cheat. I ain't give a fuck about no emotions. We trying to get the emotion going in the ocean. Yeah, I mean, son. But that's how they try to project on us how they think. It ain't how we think and how we operate. But how women do, you can totally not, I didn't work with women like this before. You can totally not be her type. And y'all get to talking, y'all get to vibing, y'all get to, you know, just on some regular shit, and she want to bust it open for you. Real spill. But hey, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon. Peace.